Start recording. Okay, so this is the Floralcast. It's a podcast with me and my friends. That's the intro. Done. I was told that I needed an intro before. Oh, okay. Well, I just checked an at everyone mentioned in one of the servers I'm in, and it was just at everyone the N word.
Ah, I understand. That's a good way to start a podcast.
Yeah, I'm leaving that in, by the way. Um, the things I should mention off the bat. I changed my setup. I probably sound different. I won't address it in the Avatar episodes, but I changed my mic setup. I now have my mic hanging upside down from a coat rack using a strap from a strap-on binder, like a over-the-shoulder binder, and it looks really bad if you look at it. I'm going to put a picture up. So, uh I had the idea of school stories. Me and Ty went to the same high school, but not the same middle school. Me and Nick went to the same high school and middle school. And so, I don't know how I want to structure this. I'll just let you take the floor and talk for a bit.
Oh, that's always nice. Okay. Okay, so the middle school that I went to was uh what was it called? Oh, it was terrible. I hated it.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Uh yeah, it's terrible. They asked for uniforms and stuff. It was awful. I hated it.
Ew.
They put a fence around it. They put a
wait,
fence around like the second year in.
wait. I think I know what you're talking about now. Did you go to um? It was like in the middle of, and it was like across the street from a Taco Bell, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, that's the one.
I always like
Yeah.
passed the.
They put a fence around it,
Yeah, I thought all
and
this.
everyone's like, "Man, this is a prison. What are we doing here?"
I always thought that every time I passed it, I was like, that looks suspiciously like a Catholic private school that makes their students like
No, it
bend down.
was a Catholic private school.
Ah, so you got hit with rulers and stuff, or was it more progressive?
Oh, not me. I ain't hit with a ruler.
But that implies
Let's see.
somebody else did.
Maybe. I don't know. Our history teacher got sent to jail. I don't know why.
Oh, I had a janitor that was sent to jail from my middle school.
We don't know why his teacher was sent to jail.
I know
He just
what.
was.
Yeah, I know why my janitor was. The year before I went to the middle school, the janitor was arrested for locking. I think it was two different kids. He locked them up in the janitor closet with duct tape over their mouths so they couldn't make any noise, and like tied their hands and stuff, and just left them locked in the janitor's closet for a full day. And I think the story after that was that he like
Why?
he let them go. Well, obviously he like did things while they were locked up in there. I'm not gonna say what. You can infer that yourself. But
Fuck.
yeah, it's like some cartoon shit. He literally got arrested. I think it was the week before that the process of him getting arrested actually took place, because the kids obviously went home and like I think they were traumatized and he had threatened them, and then it was summer, and the kids were finally like, okay, it's summertime. He can't get to us. We know his name, so we'll tell our parents. And then the guy was arrested, and it never made the news. I've looked up my middle school and like janitor arrested and stuff like that, and it never made the news.
It's always the janitors.
Yeah, it is. Apparently, he also over the summer, which was what caused him to get arrested, he was like watching the football team perform or something or practice, and he went over to one of the football guys and said that he'd pay them some money to run around naked on the football field. And the coach overheard and was like, Bro,
What the?
no. And called the cops on him immediately.
I'm calling the police. Let's see. They also fired teachers like constantly at my middle school.
Hmm. I had a
Like
different.
I swear I had like four. I had like four different English teachers, and they also fired like half the staff after I left.
Yeah, I had a different English teacher for all 3 years of middle school, and it was all three of them were English teachers that taught all three grades. They just changed them out that quickly. That that leads me to my
Yeah,
sixth.
they fired a lot of people at this middle school.
Yeah, that leads me to my sixth grade English teacher, who was the worst teacher I've ever had by far. Like worse than Kwame and worse than probably about on par with Dr. Saeed. But Dr. Saeed was nice. He was just weird. This teacher, I'm just gonna call her Miss Bitch because she was a bitch. She was an old hag. She was like in her late 80s, I think. And the things that she would do,
Oh yeah,
like
old teachers are the worst.
yeah, if a student went to the bathroom, she would time it because the bathrooms were like two doors down from her classroom. And so she would time how long the students were in the bathroom for, and when they got back, if it was over than 2 minutes, then she would be like, she would slam the desk like, Mr. So and so, you were in the bathroom for 7 minutes.
If it was over 2 minutes,
Yeah, like how are you expected to go and take a shit and wash your hands in 2 minutes? And she didn't do this as
you got to
much for.
speed run it.
She didn't do this as much for the girls. She mostly did it for the guys. She did it to a few girls that she did. Like she didn't like some of the girls, and it was especially prevalent with one of them, which I'll get to later. But she one time I went to the bathroom and came back, and she slammed her hands on the desk. She was like, Mr. So and so, you were in the bathroom for 7 minutes. What were you doing in there? And I was like shy, and I was like, oh, I was sick. And she's like, what? I couldn't hear you. Speak up. And I was like, I had diarrhea. And she's like, that's disgusting. I didn't need to know that. Go sit down and shut up. I was like, you asked.
Well, you asked.
You literally asked in front of the entire class and expect me not to say?
Yeah,
She,
that sounds about right for old teachers.
yeah, for the bell ringer, every day, she would have, like, a paragraph up on the screen, and she would choose a random student to, like, read it out loud, and then she would critique that student on how well their reading out loud was, which is torture already. And another thing she did was she closed the door before passing period was over, and if you didn't get to the door within 3 minutes instead of four, then she would lock you out and have you wait an extra minute and then go and get your late attendance thing and then go back to class.
Yeah, she sounds like the worst.
Oh, she was. During one of the bell ringers, I forget her name, but there's this girl reading, and she was like I think she was Spanish or Latina or whatever the proper term is, but she was
She had like she had like an accent or something.
slightly, and she talked very fast, which is why
Okay.
I don't know if it was Mexican. I don't want to get into like what groups of Spanish speaking people talk faster, but she was talking really
What
fast.
groups?
Well, yeah, because there's like the stereotype or whatever that certain Spanish speaking countries speak
Yeah,
it faster than others.
talk faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was speaking really fast, and she didn't stop at like periods and commas as long as the teacher had wanted, apparently. And so the teacher stopped her
Uh,
and spent the entire class giving us a lecture about the importance of English and how to speak it properly and why it's important to be able to speak it properly. Because she didn't stop at a period for long
the
enough.
entire class.
Yeah, she made us late for lunch, which was the last thing of class.
Okay, sounds nice.
So yeah, that was. Oh,
I don't
one
think I've
last.
ever had te- I don't think
one last thing to wrap up her story, this bitch. Um, my older brother. I have an older
I love
brother
that name.
who's 10 years older than me, and went to a different middle school, but the same, or no, different same middle school but different high school. Because they moved like in the middle of his middle school, and then moved back after, or moved to a different house in the same area. Whatever. I'm not gonna get into it. Um, I was complaining to him about my English teacher, and he's like, "Yeah, I think I went to the same middle school as you. What's her name, or what's his name, or whatever? I might have had them as a teacher before. I can give you tips on how to deal with them." And I told him the name, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I had her. She's a bitch. Just straight up, she's a bitch. Just ignore her and do what she says, but don't listen to anything she says that isn't a command, and you'll do fine." Which is the same advice that a sixth grader gave to me, or maybe a seventh grader or something, on the day that the middle schoolers or the elementary schoolers came to the middle school for a day, like the shadow day or whatever. That was the same advice that my middle schooler told me was,
Oh,
yeah, just ignore her. My I showed my older brother a picture of her from the school website, and after 10 years, he said she had not aged at all. She still looked about as wretched as she did when he had her.
she absorbs the life energy from people. That's how she keeps her age.
That's what our theory was, yeah.
Yeah, my middle school had like all the grades merged into one building.
Oh, I hate
It's
those.
like from like elementary to high school, it was all in like one building, and it was like the worst.
Yeah. Especially since, like, the younger kids would be more at um, risk of getting bullied really hard. Because if you have high school kids walking around like fourth graders, they're gonna mess with them.
Yeah, they might also pick up some other words that are not favorable.
Yeah, I think I learned about sex from a kid in fifth grade,